2, 1, 0. All engine running.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucer. The Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat.
Just before 9 o'clock this morning in New York, the passenger jet, which had taken off from Boston, slammed into the World Trade Center. Thick black smoke blotted out the Manhattan skyline.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Esoteric Roundtable Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Justin, and I'm joined here with Ben. That's Ben's wave. And we're here today to talk about some pretty cool stuff involving some not so cool people.
Yeah.
And that's going to be my hint. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Ben.
Yeah, so the not so cool people we're going to be discussing today would be probably the most infamous man to ever live, Adolf Hitler. He's right up there with like Lucifer and Satan and stuff, you know?
Yeah, he's like, he's right up there. He's pretty close.
He's right up there. He's like neck and neck, you know, probably close to Satan himself. But
and Tom Brady. He's right up there with Tom Brady.
He's almost at Tom Brady's level.
Yeah, he's
to be
close.
Honest.
He's close.
Anyway, I grew up
Patrick fucking Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, you know, Patrick Mahomes is worse than Brady.
Yeah,
Brady's a
worse
saint
than all
compared
of
to Patrick.
No.
Anyways, I grew up in a household where my dad always was watching some kind of war documentary,
Sure.
and he has watched probably every World War II documentary movie to ever exist.
That's badass.
Just
Dude,
every-
I love war docs.
Every day,
since
man.
I was a kid, dude. I was like super indoctrinated by war docs when I was a child. I wanted to be in the army so bad, to the point where like I would go to the Go Army website and sign up, and they would call my aunt and they'd be like, "Hey, so when can we talk to Justin? He's 11. Like, he cannot be in the fucking army." And I would put my social in. I would give
That's
them all of my
hilarious.
information. I wanted to be in the army so bad, dude. And now, being like a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, I am very glad I did not end up taking that route. But I am very appreciative of the people that do. I appreciate the sacrifice. Anyways, Ben,
Yeah,
take back.
but
over. I'm sorry.
going back to that, my dad's birthday recently passed, and knowing that he loved watching World War II documentaries since I'd been alive, he's been fascinated with Vietnam War, World War II, Korean War, any kind of war. I live near New Orleans. I don't live in New Orleans. I live within, you know, a few hundred miles of New Orleans. So I took my dad to the World War II Museum in New Orleans for his birthday. It is the largest World War II museum in America, maybe the world, definitely in America. Anyways, and this just got me on a thing. I mean, they had everything there. Like, I mean, Nazi Germany uniforms, silverware and dishware used by the Nazis, stuff
Didn't
taken
they have
from
like planes and shit there and something?
they have planes, they have U-boats, they had everything,
Yeah,
dude.
That's badass.
It's incredible. They had some of the I forget what they call them, some of the boats that were dropping people off in the beaches of Normandy on D-Day.
Who fucking knows? But that's cool though.
It was really cool, really
That's
cool.
badass.
Japanese samurai or Japanese swords, samurai swords.
Samurai
Japanese swords. They even had it was one thing that was cool. It was a gun glove, and it had like a little
hell
bump on the
yeah.
knuckle, so you could punch somebody. It would shoot a .22 caliber.
That's some Peaky Blinders shit, dude.
Dude, it was like a white glove. You punch somebody, and it would shoot a .22 caliber. Just so,
Dude, hey, yeah, that's.
I thought it was cool. I said,
Hoffman
man, I
shit
said,
for
how did
real.
we regress in weaponry as we got older? Like we don't even have the gun glove anymore. You just
Yeah.
punch somebody and
Yeah,
shoot
man,
them
they
at the
used to
same
put
time.
guns in a lot of shit. I remember watching documentaries
Yeah.
growing up where they put them in suitcases and like shoes.
Yeah, canes.
canes, it's shoes. I remember
Yeah.
shoes being one that was super blown away by.
Shoe
There was like
gun.
a shoe. Yeah, dude. Like pins.
Anyways, that has nothing to do with my topic, but we went to the World War II Museum and it got me thinking about Nazi Germany, Hitler, and I've been on this weird deep dive. I do it once every few years, but like I've watched like a documentary on Auschwitz and stuff, and it's kind of gloomy. But it also reminded me that about a conspiracy theory that I had heard regarding Hitler's death. History tells us that Adolf Hitler died on April the 30th of 1945. As the Soviets were closing in on him, he took a cyanide capsule, gave his wife a cyanide capsule, and then shot himself in the head, which I've always found stupid. Why would you take a cyanide capsule and then blow your top off?
And then blow your
Doesn't make
brains out,
it doesn't make any sense. Just do one or the other.
Yeah.
Unless he took it was like, oh, I'm scared that the cyanide's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
No, I'm scared. I don't want to slowly die. I'm gonna shoot.
for
So
real.
I guess maybe, but
Maybe.
however, there's a conspiracy theory that
Quote,
says
unquote.
otherwise, quote unquote, because it does kind of piss me off that this is called a conspiracy theory, and you'll see why here in a little bit.
Absolutely.
But I first heard of this from an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. I mean, years ago. It wasn't recent. And I just happened to think about it again after the World War II Museum. This conspiracy states that Adolf Hitler and a lot of the Nazi Germany soldiers, the Nazis, fled to Argentina after World War II ended, like after
Yikes.
April 30th, 1945. And this actually does have some merit due to declassified FBI documents from 1945 and forward that are available online from the FBI.gov website. There's 4 parts of these documents. The first part, which is what we're going to discuss from today, is over 203 pages, and there's 3 additional
crazy,
parts
bro.
that Justin has the link to those documents.
Yep,
that
I got them pulled up already.
we're going to pull it up. So we'll start from page 1. There's some things there.
How do well,
I mean, I have notes written on pretty much
let's
what all said in there.
see. Just gonna make it a bit bigger.
Okay.
It's gonna cover us a slight bit, but that's all right. The information is what is important.
It's okay. Anyways, these FBI documents prove that the federal government spent an incredible amount of time and money after World War II searching for Adolf Hitler in South America after his reported death, suicide that was reported by the British, in 1945 in April. So I've sent Justin these declassified FBI documents to show all of you that are watching via Spotify or YouTube or even listening. Also note that you can go to the vault. It's just vault.fbi.gov and find these documents. You just search for Hitler hideout. Easy to find via Google search. But just to show you guys what we're referencing and talking about, these documents are not from just some Wikipedia source or subpar source. This is from the Federal Bureau of Investigation themselves. Like I said before, 4 parts of these documents that exist in the vault section of the FBI website. The very first page, which you should all be currently looking at, is dated September 21st of 1945 from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So this would be a few months after Hitler's supposed suicide. A lot of information has been blotted out on these documents. However, we are still able to at least get an idea of what is being talked about and the concerns of the federal government at the time that these were drafted. A lot of letters back and forth here. The title of this first report mentions that it just says Hitler hideout in the title section after another portion of it's blotted out. We also see the synopsis section of the document, which is right below that area, that there were reports that Hitler was being hidden in Argentina. It clearly states that upon Adolf Hitler's arrival to Argentina, that someone claims to have aided 6 Argentine officials in hiding Adolf Hitler in a submarine. To me, this would make a lot of sense, mostly because how would anyone possibly be able to find him in a submarine? I mean, you can take sonar.
They were running shit with the submarine game back then with the U-boats.
Yeah. And I mean, bro, like you take you can identify one with sonar, but unless you go down there and cause it to resurface or blow it up with a missile, like how would you ever know who's inside of it? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, if you blow a submarine up, I highly doubt in World War II you could dismantle a submarine under the water and like get everybody to surrender and like still take them alive, or at least in a state where you can even tell who it was. You know what I'm saying? That shit implodes underwater or whatever. They're scraps. They're nothing.
Yeah. So to me, it's like nobody would possibly know. So it's a pretty good plan.
Absolutely.
We're gonna hide them out in a submarine. Anyways,
and especially a desperate plan. I mean, they're this is the end of the war. They know for a fact they've lost. There is no, the last thing they can do is try to run away and scrape and maybe keep the Reich going or whatever the fuck their vision is. Supposedly. Maybe we'll get into that later. But this could be a desperate move too. So.
And so to me, this was like, that makes a lot of sense, harboring him in a submarine temporarily, nobody be able to find him. He's not being seen. And dude, submarines can stay down for a long time without having to resurface. A long time, months. The synopsis also states that the individual who gave the FBI this intel, Justin, you can also see this, everybody else can too. The FBI, the guy who gave the FBI this intel seems to have disappeared. There were documented failed attempts to locate this individual, but to no avail. No record of him in police or INS files. Really not sure what INS files are. Off the top of my head, INS files. So to me, this is my first red flag. It just seems all too convenient that someone with intel of this magnitude would go missing during the FBI investigation, and after nearly 5 months,
somewhere in the Argentina jungle, strung up.
Yeah, especially after nearly 5 months from Hitler's alleged suicide. So on page 4, if you can go to page 4, Justin.
Yeah, let me get over there. Yep, and we're there.
It should be like a handwritten letter.
Yep.
Okay, so this kind of caught my attention. So on page 4 of these files, I noticed a letter in which I cannot find a very detailed description of who wrote it. It seems to be very clear. It says the letter reads, "Dear Sir, I'll bet $1 to a donut that Hitler is located right in New York City."
$1 to a donut. You could tell this shit was written back
45.
Then. That was a boomer ass statement.
Yeah. There's no other city in the world where he could so easily be absorbed. No doubt you have considered this possibility, but I mention it for what it is worth anyway. The letter is initialed at the bottom, but I cannot really make out the initials. To me, it looks to be something along the lines of FJM or TJM. I really don't know what you think, Justin. I struggle reading really old cursive like that. Like that letter took me forever to kind of sit there and look at it and stare and squint and figure out what it was saying. This letter doesn't seem to have any merit in Hitler's true location or if he was alive or not. Letter was written as a possible scenario, but I did find it interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, it's probably just something they included. They got sent to them or something.
I thought so too. And then you scroll down, like there are also letters sent in response from John Edgar Hoover in response to that little napkin letter. By the way, John Edgar Hoover was the director of the FBI at the time. And they take great interest in the letter, and even informs the writer that his letter was forwarded to the assistant chief of staff in the War Department of Washington, D.C. So they at least thought it was kind of interesting. Oh, this could be a possibility, maybe.
Yeah.
So it was at least considered to be thought-provoking to the FBI at the time. There are several more letters within these files that go back and forth from anonymous senders to Edgar J. Hoover. A lot of them, I believe, is this same person who's writing back and forth and would be the person who went missing. Like, it's just a compilation of files where he's feeding intel and then all of a sudden would go missing and they can't find out who he is, like it was stated in the synopsis.
Hold on 1 second. All right, sorry about that.
It's okay. But it would seem like maybe it would be the person who is mentioned in the synopsis who's writing these letters back and forth. On page 13, if you can go to page 13.
There we are.
All right. So here is another letter that is actually typed out. Thank God.
Now I can really see that middle finger that you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is.
We looked through these earlier, and you guys can see at the bottom right, it really does look like a drawn middle finger. I guess it's the thumb part is a typed F, so it's probably just a stamp or something. Anyways, my bad. Go ahead. Ben, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Anyway, so it is far easier to read than the sloppy cursive handwriting from other
Yeah,
letters that
yeah.
are present in these documents. This letter on page 13 has several misspellings and typos. I'm sure you can see that, Justin.
Mm.
Like just weird words that are misspelled and things like that. But it
Yeah, you think it was
offers.
just typed in a pinch, I
I
should
don't
say?
know. I think this person was from like Argentina area or from South America and was in the States as an immigrant. So maybe they had
Gotcha.
some issues with English and spelling. That's what it
Right.
seems to me. I don't know why they would have so much intel from Argentina or South America otherwise. As an informant, that's not even in the FBI. They're just informing the FBI.
Right.
But this letter offers some very interesting things. This letter in particular claims to know the exact location of where Hitler is hiding out in Argentina. The letter reads, Hitler is in Argentina. He is living in a great underground establishment beneath a vast hacienda, 675 miles west from from Florian Florianopolis, Florianopolis,
Florianopolis.
Florianopolis, whatever. 430 miles northwest of Buenos Aires, and two doubles are there with Hitler, like two lookalikes.
Damn.
Are there with Hitler. The western entrance to elevators leading to Hitler's new underground hideout is a wall operated by photoelectric cells, and that by code signals of even dim flashlights. The wall slides to the left, lets cars, it says autos, lets cars speed in and instantly slides back into place. Do not believe the lie that Hitler is dead. I am a full-blooded American and think this should be investigated at once. I thought that was a very interesting letter
Yeah,
to be sent.
that is pretty interesting. Also, yeah, I mean, he does say he's a full-blooded American, so
Yeah, but
maybe he just
it's
could be
weird.
stupid. No, you know.
Yeah, I got it
I
was
mean,
1945.
yeah. What the fuck is photoelectric cells?
That's what I don't know.
That's
It's worded
pretty
really weird,
crazy,
but
yeah.
it's very specific on like
Yeah.
the western entrance to the elevators leading to Hitler's underground hideout.
675 miles west from
Yeah,
Florianopolis,
very
whatever the hell.
specific. So this was extremely intriguing to me. Not only does the informant believe that Hitler is still alive, he has incredible detail about his whereabouts and how to access or how access to this bunker would work, like a secret entrance would work. It became incredibly evident to me that either this dude was one absolutely incredible lying storyteller,
Hmm.
or they genuinely had information that would lead to a Nazi hideout at the very least.
Yeah,
Even if it
for
didn't
sure.
hide Hitler, they claimed that he had doubles there. They claimed that he had that, which I would also like a Nazi hideout at the very least. If anything, if he wasn't lying and making all of this up with an elaborate story,
Right.
I like to think that if the FBI found this source to be credible, then it does likely have some merit. You know, they spent time and money investigating this. I would also like to mention that I am pretty certain that all of these letters came from the same individual who initialed the first handwritten letter that we read earlier. Don't know that for a fact. I haven't read all 203 pages of this file, but I read a significant amount of them on lunch break today when I was preparing for this.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, a lot of this is pages long, full of intel from this unknown individual. On page 17, you go to page 17?
Oh, yep. I forgot I'm in control of this boat here.
That's okay.
Here we go. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the full shebang. There we go.
So this one is another document that I also found interesting. This letter claims to have a book that contains photographs of Adolf Hitler and his colleagues at this new hideout in Argentina.
Yeah.
So claims to have photos of Hitler and that. I cannot really make out all the words in the writing since it is a digital scan of a handwritten letter from 1945 written in very sloppy cursive. But I did make out that they have a book that contains photographs of Hitler and his colleagues. Page 22 was I believe is going to be
cigarettes, a package of cigarettes. Page 22,
Page
you said?
yeah. So on page 22, this is a letter from John Hoover, the director of the FBI, discussing a woman by the name of Mrs. Eichhorn. This letter has 4 interesting points that could potentially link Hitler's interest in Argentina to his relocation there, which was something I questioned. Is like, why would Hitler relocate to Argentina? It doesn't make any, like, why
Right.
Argentina? Why South America? So let me get this pulled up real quick on page 22 so I can actually see what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So these 4 points, it goes, the Bureau is in receipt of a report from the Strategic Services Unit of the War Department dated October 23rd, 1945, concerning the possibility of a Hitler hideout in Argentina. This report is as follows. One,
the War
Ms.
Department,
Eichhorn.
by the way. The War Department. Do you know where that is? That's the fucking defense now. It's not. It's the.
Where is it at?
Oh
In
my
DC?
goodness. It's called the Department of Defense or whatever.
Mm.
It's not called the
Yeah.
War Department anymore. Isn't that funny how, like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we should probably stop calling it the War Department. It's just for defense, guys. And still
it's for
use it to
defense.
blow the shit out of people. Anyways, go.
Yeah. Anyway, it says one Mrs. Eichhorn. I'm assuming that's what that says. I can't really imagine it being any other than Mrs. Eichhorn, reported to be a reputable member of Argentina or of the Argentine Society and the proprietor of the largest spa hotel in La Falda, Argentina. Recently made the following observation. So he has 4 points, A, B, C, D. A being that even before the Nazi Party was founded, she made available to
Goebbels. That's Joseph
Goebbels. Yeah. Made available to Goebbels her entire bank
Joseph.
account, which at the time amounted to approximately 30,000 marks, which money was used for propaganda purposes.
It may not be Joseph, by the way. I'm probably going to get shit on, but anyways, that's one of Hitler's men.
I don't see, before the Nazi Party was founded, I don't see who else it would have been if it was somebody connected directly to Hitler. Point B said that that she and her family have been enthusiastic supporters of Adolf Hitler since the Nazi Party was founded. So before it was founded and after it was founded. Point C was that this voluntary support of the Nazi Party was never forgotten by Hitler, and that during the years after he came into power, her friendship with Hitler became so close that she and members of her family lived with Hitler in the same hotel on the occasion of their annual visit to Germany. So they would stay with Hitler on their annual visit to Germany, and they were from Argentina and owned and controlled the largest hotel spa in La Falda, Argentina. Point D is that if Hitler should at any time get into difficulty wherein it was necessary for him to find a safe retreat, he would find such safe retreat at her hotel, La Falda, where they had already made the necessary preparations. And it goes, this is being furnished only for your information and for the completion of your files. Anyways, that's to me, this was pretty interesting information. It linked
seriously
why Hitler would want to go to Argentina.
Right. I mean, this gives him a route too. This gives him like at least one little person to be like, dude, if you can just get me and 3 of my fucking guys there, we can do this thing. We will be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And the fact that so many parts of this are interesting. That was written by the director of the FBI. Those points were. The fact that the director of the FBI had some of this intel, and not only the fact, this is what started provoking thoughts with me. It goes, regardless of if Hitler died by suicide, as reported by Winston Churchill and the British, or if he fled to Argentina, this will always be interesting to me. I believe this sort of thing will have to be evaluated and decided upon by each individual personally.
Yeah.
But to call this a conspiracy theory, you just look up Hitler to Argentina. It goes Hitler to Argentina conspiracy theories. They call it a conspiracy theory. This is the Federal Bureau of Investigation is hosting these files.
Yeah, man.
And their vaulted website.
There is the conspiracy theory is Hitler himself.
Yeah.
It is a fact
That
that
they fled to
Nazis went to Argentina.
Absolutely.
There is a Catholic cardinal who is, I know it was brought out into the public and the public shit on him. I don't know if charges were brought to him, but he was helping through the Vatican sneak fucking Nazis to Argentina, man. You know, and his excuse is all souls are worth saving, blah blah blah. You know, anyway, so I guess there's an argument there if you're fucking about that thing. But anyways, it happened. Nazis went to Argentina. There's towns where like there's Nazi flags hanging up in bars and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But
And not even just that, bro.
The conspiracy is Hitler
himself. Even calling Hitler the conspiracy, though, man. I mean, dude, the FBI doesn't really. They didn't think it was a conspiracy. They spent millions of dollars.
Even what we opened
Yeah.
this with, he took a cyanide pill and then shot himself in the head.
Yes.
I mean, that's some Hillary Clinton shit. That's some shooting yourself 2 times in the back of the head and then hanging yourself before you stabbed yourself in the stomach. That's stupid as fuck. I mean,
You take a cyanide
honestly,
pill.
taking a fucking U-boat, which you have an assortment of, to Argentina, where you have a possible safe haven. That sounds so much more.
It doesn't make
plausible
logical
for
sense to me
Hitler.
that he would cower in a bunker and
I mean,
Mein Kampf,
it is
and then
nice
take a
to think-
cyanide
it
pill
is
and
nice
shoot
to
himself
think.
in the
It
head.
is a nice cherry on top of the sundae to be like, oh, he died like a pussy. It is
died like
nice
a
to
dog.
think that he died like a dog. He cried. I wouldn't have cried. I wouldn't have shot myself. I would have let the cyanide pill kill me. But anyways, I'm just saying, it's nice to think that, but at the end of the day, it's just, let's be realistic here. You know what I'm saying? If other Nazis are making it,
Yeah.
Hitler
Well,
probably
one other
made
thought
it.
I had too. One of the other letters that talks about the entrance to this hideout and everything. He says he has 2 doubles there with him. What if this Hitler suicide thing was another one of those doubles?
Yeah,
that they
there's
claimed that he would have
questions
had?
about the body. Anyways, there was questions.
Yeah.
It was
They
a
never
burned-
released the body for public
it was
inspection.
A burned body, or was it Ava Brown's? Maybe they burned her body. They burned one or both of the bodies. Why? I guess the excuse was, I don't want the Allies to get the bodies, but
Yeah, and then
it seems a little
none of the
convenient to
Americans
be
ever
like,
got
"Hey,
to view the
where's-"
body.
Exactly. Where's Hitler? Where's Ava? And you just point to a pile of ashes and be like,
Yeah,
that's them.
it's
That's
weird.
them.
So in these FBI documents, I did scroll over some pages. There was even one letter from this informant who claims that he firmly believes that Hitler and Ava Braun were both alive. I only saw that in one letter, but he does write something. It was handwritten. It was very hard to read. So I just caught it. But
Okay.
anyway, I had issues on, like, if he mentions doubles, that style of mustache, the Charlie Chaplin Hitler style mustache, was really popular back then.
Yeah, well,
Hitler wasn't all that
was
remarkably
because of
different looking.
In World War I, the mask they wore, the gas mask,
It helped to seal.
Style was long mustaches, but then it wouldn't seal, like you said, so they had to trim down. But
even
I
like
guess
Charlie Chaplin, bro, like
Chaplin had
that.
one, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess you didn't see a lot of it, and I mean, of course, after the 40s, you're not going to see it.
yeah, it was
Nobody
kind of
wants- you
that
know
really
what I'm
fell
saying?
off the fashion train after
Yeah,
that.
you can't do that shit. I guess Michael Jordan kind of does it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, Jordan mustache ain't like that, bro.
I feel like I've always, even growing up, I've always thought it was a little shorter than usual. But anyways, maybe it's a Mandela effect.
Man, don't put me off on MJ. Man.
I'm not saying he's. I'm just saying he could be a trendsetter. He could be the one bringing it back.
I know, I'm messing.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah,
dude, this shit is super interesting, and I honestly, I don't think it's that much of a stretch of the imagination to think that Hitler, obviously he wouldn't be alive anymore. It's 2024. We can be obviously realistic about that, but
Yeah,
I think we can.
it was almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, we can think that he made it away, man. And
Yeah,
at
I mean, I don't
least
see. The
as-
only
as
thing
much
that
as
does
it
make me
sucks
question it.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
Oh,
continue.
the only thing that ever makes me question is, I mean, like, he never did anything else to promote his cause or continue his cause if he
Out
did go to
loud,
Argentina.
dude. Out loud.
Yeah, out loud.
Out loud.
I
And
mean, he wasn't still
there's-
obviously running concentration camps in Argentina. Maybe, I don't
And
know.
there's the whole like South Pole, I forget what it's called, but where they were trying to fly to the South Pole as a military exercise, and then like apparently some UFOs with swastikas or something, or maybe anyways. I talk about the woo woo and how we have to talk about the woo woo, and that's the woo woo. Okay, Hitler dying in the fucking with the cyanide pill in the headshot. That's the normal narrative, and this is right in the middle, and this is where I think the truth is closest to, you know.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think it makes more sense that he fled to Argentina and would make someone else believe he committed suicide.
100%.
A double suicide.
Yeah, well,
He-
yeah, I
he did it
cyanide and
twice.
then shot myself.
And
That
he
shit's
gave
so
Ava one. He didn't shoot Ava after he gave her a cyanide pill. He was like, "Yeah, I'll
He's
let her
bitch.
suffer through it. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna shoot myself in the head while she suffers and has to look at my dead body after I get."
He's like, oh, I only got one bullet. Uh-oh. I think I...
You only cut
Yeah,
out for
yeah.
a second. You're good,
Alright.
bro.
All right, well, I think we could go ahead and cut it off there. Anyways, I think that's a pretty good stopping point, man.
Yeah,
You have anything else to say?
I didn't. You have any final thoughts, man?
I think that's pretty much it, bro. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you coming to listen to us rants about the worst people in written history. Well, not really. Honestly, the most focused on worst people in written history. There's some other super bad shit that
Yeah.
goes on in the East that Americans really just don't fucking care about, like Mao and shit. But anyways, before, you know what I'm saying, different episodes, ladies and gentlemen, please remember to keep an open mind, and we'll catch you next week. Peace out.